Mercedes-Benz now readies its new addition to Maybach family. In fact, making its India debut is the ravishing, iconic SL 680 Monogram Series. To talk more about this, I am joined by the man behind this, the head of Mercedes-Maybach. Daniel is joining me. Daniel, what a pleasure to speak to you. Welcome to India.
Thank you.
And how do you like it here in Udaipur? Let me first start off by asking that.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's overwhelming, I must say. I'm very pleased. And I had the chance to meet the team, talk to some customers during the past, 2 days. And it's just incredibly intense and, full of energy. It's a very good place to be.
Great. It's the scenic beauty of Udaipur. You've got another beauty right from Pebble Beach here in India. Tell me why India and what kind of opportunity do you see in this market?
Yeah, let me start with, saying we are, extremely happy to see the development of Maybach in India is incredible, has been incredible in the past years. And we've seen a very strong sales growth. Last year recorded a growth of 145% to over 500 units, of sales in last year. So it's a super strong growth. And at the same time, we have a very high acceptance of the Maybach brand in India. And this is incredible to see. Now we launched a car last night, which is a very special car. It's an icon. It's really the Mercedes-Maybach SL 680. That's a car you mentioned we have introduced in Pebble Beach before. And we brought it to India now for the Indian premiere last night. It actually goes back a long time because already in the 19th century when Maybach all started, and Maybach was not only about those powerful engines and big chassis for grand touring cars. It was also about open-top two-seaters. So that's where it started. And then many customers and fans have asked us, when will Maybach eventually bring a drop-top car? And that's what we did. And the response was overwhelming last night. And that car is a very, very special car. Maybach is often perceived and connected to chauffeur driving.
Yeah.
And this car is really the fourth car in the lineup. And it is a car clearly designed for self-driving, sporty, yet elegant. And we also included, many details that are important to Maybach customers. Just mention one example is the manual work that went into the hood. The hood, we are printing Maybach logos, on the hood, on the bonnet of the car. This is done in a process by an industrial robot.
Yeah.
We do a lot of manual work of sanding, painting, clear coat, sanding, clear coat again to give it that depth. And that's really what Maybach stands for, that craftsmanship that we also can clearly display in this car we launched.
Yeah, Daniel, you did talk about how it's one of its kind one with a self-driving, conventionally not how the previous Maybach has been like. Tell me, is there a shift in the strategy to now, say, high-performance luxury from that conventional classic chauffeur-driven opulence?
I would say, looking at the customers, which is really the base for the Maybach brand, there's very, very individual customers, coming, ranging from, from pop stars, business people, into all kinds of directions. But that's one thing that many of them have in common. And that is clearly that through the choice of the vehicle and the brand, they have the chance, to express themselves, to express their lifestyle. And that is where we give them a little bit of an additional edge now, with this offering of a sporty open-top two-seater.
What is your expectation from the Indian market when it comes to this Maybach? You've mentioned of the kind of target audience that the car has been associated with for the past few years. Do you see it evolving in the best of interest in the coming years after, of course, officially it's launched in 2026?
You're right. So last night, the private consultation with potential clients and customers started. The car will then come to India in the first quarter of next year. And, is what I can see in a sense already, there's high interest of, many customers into this. And, we will see what that means in terms of sales in the end. Most important for us is really that we keep building the brand, keep promoting the brand, building the brand awareness, care for our customer, and in the end, provide value to our customers. And that's the foundation really for the next steps of the brand.
What is your kind of belief in India across Asia-Pacific markets? I mean, you have China, you have South Korea, you have Japan, which have been equally doing well in terms of your customer base. How confident are you for India in terms of your Maybach customer experience in the future?
I have to say, I'm confident. We're seeing an increasing interest, in the brand. We have, I mentioned, seen increasing sales in the past, and for me, there's little reason, not to believe why Maybach should not grow also in the future. Maybach is now in the top 10 markets. India is in the top 10 markets in the Maybach universe, and I would say there is definitely a good opportunity to consistently see India, in the higher numbers, maybe even in the top 5, on a consistent basis in the future. We'll see.
Okay, great. That's very well taken, that it could be in the top 5 markets. I'm curious, Daniel, what is the kind of customer demographics that you see? Are there young audience? I mean, globally, when it comes to Maybach, is it the young audience, with the entrepreneurs, besides, of course, the celebrities and the hot shots that are more prone and attracted towards the Maybach?
Well, it's difficult to talk about specific customers, but overall, the customers, they are as individual as our cars. And clearly they range, from top stars to entrepreneurs, business people, to, different individualities, in all kinds of shades. What they really all have in common is that they look through, the brand as a mean to express their individuality, their lifestyle. Overall, customers in Maybach, they are relatively young, so around the 40. It depends a little bit, market by market, but relatively young. And I think that's also a very positive development. We just carried out, on a regular basis, we do studies about, how customers and the broader public receives the brand. And these studies confirm that the brand awareness is still increasing, and also the intent to purchase in the future is increasing. So these are very good trends we're looking at.
Great. And luxury clearly is evolving. It has a new definition now. People relate it also in different connotations pertaining now to affordability and sustainability. What kind of mix can we see of Maybach in the future in terms of the sustainable side of it?
Well, Maybach is part of the Mercedes-Benz group. And as such, we share the ambition for a net carbon neutral new car fleet by 2039. And the pace of this development is determined by our customers in the end. For Maybach, we have just recently launched the first electric Maybach. That is the Mercedes-Maybach EQS SUV. That's not just the first electric Maybach, it is really the first electric car in that ultra luxury SUV space. And we see a good acceptance of this vehicle. It really actually adds to the driving characteristics of Maybach. You want a quiet, a comfortable ride, and the electric drivetrain really adds to that experience.
Great. And you've just spoken about introduction of Maybach EV, which is in the SUV version that you recently brought. In terms of an India-specific market, you see electric vehicles is the talk of the town. Could we see further additions in the EV component when it comes to Maybach offerings in India?
At the moment, we are very happy with the offering of Maybach. We have launched the Mercedes-Maybach SL 680 last night. That is the 4th edition to the portfolio, and at the moment there's no plans to increase that portfolio even further.
Okay, great. Daniel, on a global supply chain level, a lot has been happening across countries, especially with the whole debate on the tariffs, which could very significantly impact the automobile sector across the world, be it US, China, India, or other such developed nations who've been highly involved with high-end luxury. Do you see this impacting Maybach in the long run, especially if there is fluctuations with the tariff policies across the country, or do you think you are in a comfortable spot?
Well, generally, we support free trade, as a basis for the business. But we are a multinational company, and we will comply, with challenges and different situations, and we did in the past. And I'm confident we'll also manage in the future.
Confident you will manage in the future. One last question, and I must get your take on the competition that's in the ultra luxury market, the high-end top luxury market when it comes to vehicles. Where do you place Maybach when it comes to the competition on a global scale, and also its impact in the Indian market?
Well, when we look at where Maybach is positioned, we not so much look at the outside. We really focus on providing value, to our customers in the long term. That is the basis for the business, and to develop the brand. And one aspect of developing the brand is to bring dedicated Maybach spaces, to our dealerships. And we just opened in India what we call a Maybach lounge in Hyderabad in end of last year. That's a dedicated brand space where you can not only experience the product, but really the brand aesthetics, a very professional, dedicated consultation process. And we, just give you another example, also have had the chance to open a Maybach accessories dedicated store in Bangalore just in this year. In the Maybach world, we call them the Maybach icons of luxury. So those are the building blocks to keep promoting the brand here in India and also globally.
Oh, that's great. Hyderabad, Bangalore, you've taken the two major spots in south of India. Any further launches or such experiential stores we can see in India in the coming future?
Well, I used the chance to really engage deeply with the team here and discuss the plans for the future. And let's talk about it, once we're ready to.
Great. Daniel, thank you very much for joining us on India Today Group. And we're really hopeful that SL680 Monogram Series is going to set the bar high for the consumers here. Wishing you good luck.
Thank you very much for having me.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.